Robert Pattinson steps into the role of Batman in The Batman. The film is hitting all the right notes with film critics, but guess what? Rad says it has a few major problems. He's here to tell us about all of them. So, Rad, hi. Oh, my gosh.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler
yes, I do
alert.
have a few major problems.
Okay, so why don't I just ask you, what are the problems with this thing, in your opinion?
Let me just start off with what people love about this movie is that they're making the Batman look like the Seven, right? That's the aesthetic they're going for. That's the inspiration of this movie, which is very, very interesting, and that's what a lot of people are going for. It's very grim, though. So they basically got the Riddler being like a serial killer who's making these political statements with his victims, and he's trying to show people how corrupt Gotham really is. And so Robert Pattinson's Batman, he's closer to his detective roots as he's kind of working through the Riddler's clues and this labyrinthine mystery. And so that's what most critics are over the moon for. Me, 3 hours long, 3 hours of this.
Yeah, I wanted to ask
Lindsey?
you about Rad. Okay, 3 hours. Does it feel like it drags? Like 3 hours is a long time.
It started feeling like it was dragging halfway through. Okay, and it's because it's 3 hours of so much grimness, so much dourness, and again, lots of cool stuff here, right? Like there's a lot of cool little fight scenes and visual choices, and like a few things that really did catch my eye and keep me going for a while. But I mean, my really big issues with this is that first of all, this is a movie that it wants to be a political allegory in the way that the original Dark Knight movies did, the way the Christopher Nolan movies did. But it's absolutely confused about what it wants to say, because you get the sense that this movie wants to be critical of Batman as a vigilante who uses excessive force like the police do, but it doesn't really land that point. And then it also wants to use the Riddler to comment on like white male radicalization, and like the finale to this movie it'll feel especially relevant in light of the Freedom Convoy. And I won't say any more on that, but like unfortunately it's all just a real mess in terms of how it's trying to deliver that political allegory.
Okay, I gotta ask you about can I ask you about the casting though?
Sure.
Everyone wants to know, like, how's Robert Pattinson? Colin Farrell, Zoe Kravitz. I mean, how is the casting?
Colin Farrell's great. I love him in everything. He is, of course, buried under a lot of latex because he's playing the Penguin in this movie. And Robert Pattinson, okay, I love Robert Pattinson. I love everything this guy has done after Twilight, right? Like, think of like Good Time and stuff like that. Lots of indie movies. He's not, but in this movie, they don't give him a chance to be much because he's constantly brooding. Look at him. He's so pale. He looks like a zombie. He's so lifeless, right? Like, you would have got me in this movie if these characters had more life, if they were more involving. But there's just there's no dynamic to Robert Pattinson's character. He doesn't grab you. And then if you think about the chemistry between him and Zoe Kravitz, I mean, you're talking about Batman and Catwoman. There's no chemistry there. And this is what I need, Lindsey. I need them to have I need them to be sexy again. I need to feel the pheromones coming off the screen. I need to hear Catwoman say, "Hear me roar." Yeah,
no, I hear you. Okay, so having said all of that, who should see this film, Rad?
Look, I mean, again, most people are loving it, but I personally compare it to From Hell, which is the Jack the Ripper movie, and V for Vendetta, especially V for Vendetta. If you love V for Vendetta, you'd have no problem with this movie. Okay,
so let's move on. Let's talk about Fresh. It takes a look at the horrors of modern dating in the most literal sense. So walk us through this one.
Yeah, Fresh it's on Disney Plus, funny enough, in Canada, and it's a movie about a bad date that lands somewhere between Promising Young Woman and Get Out. That's the concept here, okay? So the movie's called Fresh. Yeah, it stars Sebastian Stan and Daisy Edgar Jones as a couple who they hook up in this dismal Tinder landscape, but as it turns out, he's a whole other kind of monster, and the movie it veers off into a captivity movie that is just, it's absolutely not for people with weak stomachs. And I mean, I'll tell you, it's nowhere near as brilliant as Get Out. It's not even as interesting as kind of the fake trauma brilliance of Promising Young Woman. But if you're a genre fan, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you're gonna have a good time with. It is a fun little dating satire for the people who love the grisly stuff.
I have to say, I'm a little bit intrigued. So who should see this one?
So this is for people who like movies like Ready or Not or The Hunt. Like the giddy, violent, brutal satires.
Okay, don't know either one of those movies, but I am intrigued still. Thanks, Ryan. Hey, always good to see you. We needed a little bit of this today. Thank you.
Thanks. Talk to you soon.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.